Hello, hello. So it's been a bit since I posted to YouTube. A friend of mine reached out and asked, when are we going to be retrograde free? And I laughed and said, next year. Um, and then they asked if I could give them details on when we will be retrograde free next. So I was thinking about creating a calendar. I was thinking about making something for my store. But then it's a lot of work, and I'm already doing a lot of work right now because I got a lot of custom beadwork orders to fulfill. So I don't really have the time to create it. But I do want to share a tool with y'all that are interested in about the retrograde periods and when we'll have another retrograde free period of time. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go over to Astro-Seek. So this is the home page, and basically I'm just going to show you where to find this. And a recording of this will be provided on the website. So we're going to go to the navigation bar, which is here. We're going to go to Astro Tools, and then Retrograde Planets. You could use this if you'd like, but I really like visual graph. So we're going to go to annual retrogradity. I say that. Okay, so this is for 2023. I set this to, oh, how did I set it to my local time? But I guess this doesn't go by local, which is fine. Um, these, when we go to like detail, it'll give us a full month. And then we can actually not choose local time zone. Interesting. Okay, so usually with, of course it would happen during this video. Usually there is a way to make it local, but for this, there isn't, which is okay. Basically, this is what we're looking at. We got Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, the lunar node, and Chiron. So nodes are always going to be retrograde because they move in retrograde motion. So this is always going to be great, unless you're using like, believe me, those go non-retrograde, go direct for a little bit. I can't remember if it's mean or true, but one of them goes direct, and the other one is just right. I don't know if there's a way to actually change that. I thought I saw a setting in that, but that's okay. So basically, what we're looking at is each column is a planet. This max RX at the end will tell you that there are 4 retrograde planets in the month of January. And then each row is a month. Basically, everything in gray is retrograde. So for January 2023, we started with Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, Uranus retrograde. And then in February, we had no retrogrades besides the lunar stuff like that for this purpose. Next, we have March, no retrogrades. April, no retrogrades at the beginning, and then we have mid. So let's go to current time. So July, we see that Saturn has been retrograde since last month. The end of the month, Venus is going to go retrograde, which is what's talking about right now in astrology land. And then we have Neptune and Pluto retrograde. And yeah. So the way I look at this is inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn. And then we have the collective planets, so Uranus, Pluto. So when I look at retrogrades, specifically for my own transits, on my own charts, I look mostly at the inner planets. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It's also traditional for Hellenistic astrology, which Hellenistic astrologer. So of course I'm going to go with those. When we're going into Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, these planets interact with the entire collective, with the collective mind, the way that we interact with each other. So these are impersonal, they're very intrapersonal. So when I think of retrogrades uh, in these three columns, those are going to be things that are going to affect all of us on a large scale. When I'm looking at these first five, these are things that are going to impact my direct life. Even if that's interacting with someone else, it's going to be impacted on my direct natal chart. So they're going to be more significant than Chiron retrograde. Chiron is always seen as the healer. Chiron's also wisdom. Chiron gave us astrology and medicine and tons of other things. So it's a strict practice of doing something that can heal other people potentially. Um, so when Chiron goes retrograde, it's more of a needing to find solutions to provide a healing for something needing new wisdom, new teachings. Stuff. Let's look at next year, and then I'll go planet by planet. I know I just did a little special thing for Chiron. We'll do all of it. The other thing I like about this is the chart, so you can actually see like the whole year and where the planets are moving, the signs that they're weaving in and out of throughout the entire year, including retrograde motion, which is right here. It's direct, or sorry, retrograde. So it's really cool. There's a lot more too. If you want to see an ephemeris version of this, there you go. That just has January. I don't know how to get. I guess we got to customize to get the rest of the months. But let's go back here and let's talk about these planets. So first, let's just go through 2024. So in January, we have Mercury retrograde ending at the very beginning of January. And then we have Venus direct, Mars direct, Jupiter, Saturn direct. Uranus is retrograde. Neptune direct, Pluto direct. February 2024, we have Mercury direct, Venus direct, Mars direct, Jupiter direct, Saturn direct, Uranus direct, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron direct. So February, March look really good for people that plan things around retrograde periods. January, February, March, get it going. And then in April, we're hit with a Mercury retrograde. Let's see, May and June, all of the traditional planets are direct. Uranus and Neptune are direct, but Pluto goes retrograde again. So, yeah. And then we go to July, and we have Saturn direct. August, Mercury and Saturn, or sorry, retrograde. I'm sick, y'all. I've been for a day. Anyways, I thought I could do a video, and here I am, like mixing words and things, trying to teach and educate, and can't even think. That's okay. So yeah, I mean, you get the idea. So Mercury retrogrades basically are uh, Mercury rules over the electricity in the body. It rules over how we communicate with others, communication tools, utensils, pencils, keyboards, pens, paper, stuff like that. From texting, Mercury. Um, when things go retrograde, it means that they're going inward. The energy is shifting inward. It's as if, at a direct motion, the parts of us that are ruled by these planets are projecting outward. But when something goes retrograde, that everything ruled by that basically projects inward. Um, so when we think of these planetary meanings, we're also thinking of how is that shifting in our aura? How is that shifting in our body? Venus is going to be resources, values, material, beauty. It's also blood. So Venus loves blood. And Venus and Mars love war. Uh, so in ancient texts, it was noted that Venus and Mars started a lot of violence. So Venus is all love and beauty and everything, but it's also passion. And passion creates um, conflict. Maybe not conflict. I don't know how to say that. Like if someone really loved their country and they were pushed to do something that would harm another person because uh, it's something that is about their country that they live in. I feel like that's a Venus thing. And same with Mars. Mars is the instigator. So Mars is going to be like, oh, you love your country? Well, I'm going to give you, unlimited military budget. That's something that Mars would do. So Mars is a motivator, instigator. It creates will. It creates emotion. It creates a stimulus to respond to. When it goes retrograde, that's all going to go inward. This could also be sharp objects, uh, weapons, knives, stuff like that. Then we have Jupiter. Jupiter is the attractor. Jupiter is abundance, magnetism. Um, Jupiter is also bringing people together, spending time with friends, celebrating. So when that goes inward, it's more isolating. We're thinking about good times. Then we have Saturn. Saturn is boundaries and cold, discipline, long-term things. When it goes inward, inward boundaries, inward discipline, things that we need over a long period of time can necessarily get a quick fix off of. Uranus, I read it. I heard that Uranus is uh, confusion. It's also rebellion and drastic change. So when those things take place inside, it's a transformation process. Neptune, the dissolver, mystical planes. People say the veil is thinning. Well, the veil is thin already because it's a veil. Uh, Neptune is the veil. It's you can't see it. And when we look for Neptunian things, they don't appear because they're only present when we're not looking, which is a really mystical thing to say. Neptune is also the dissolver, so dissolving things within ourselves. So the king body is Neptune. Um, when Neptune goes retrograde, it's dissolving things inside of us that were there for a long time that are coming to a cycle of needing to be removed and renewed or expelled to make more room for something else. So, um, yeah, that's how I look at it. Sorry, I'm trying not to like go on my whole like mystical channel. You gotta pay for that. Let's see. Pluto. Pluto is the dark things, not dark like but like the things that we don't look at constantly, things that we don't see. The sun takes a very long time to reach uh, Pluto, and I mean like the light doesn't really like shine as bright in the orbit of Pluto. Um, so yeah, things that are hidden that are revealed, also transformation, also legacies, long term themes, perhaps longer than our own lives. So when we look at that from a retrograde perspective inside of us, um, recognizing those ancestral cycles that have gone generation to generation to generation, and now it's your turn. And dealing with them. There are times where we recognize that, oh, the way that I'm acting today is not only a product of the society that I live in current time, but it's also an ancestral memory. And there's conflict there because we have present time, ancestral memories colliding together. Things aren't matching up. What's the middle ground for this? Those are things that are constantly seen. Pluto retrograde. So yeah, that's my little video. And I'm hoping that my voice can be heard because I can hear squeakiness when I talk, and I can't really hear. So uh, I plan on doing a lot more video content on YouTube, uh, just because I've been trying to stick up and I've been trying to keep up with TikTok, and that's just yeah. Uh, I have my ins and outs with TikTok, and it doesn't have anything to do with the company itself or platform, but it's just the time. So right now I'm sick. I have the time, but once I go back to work, I'm not gonna have the time to make a TikTok like literally every day, 3 times a day. Um, which I do like going on there and doing comments and stuff, but that's basically it. The other thing, Instagram, I hardly ever use anymore. Twitter, don't use anymore. I'm on Reds. Um, all these different platforms I'm not really using because it's really hard to share astrological information like this on a phone and being limited to screen size. So I figured that I'll start doing YouTube, and I don't really have a set plan. Like I'm not going to be doing like, oh, this series on this and that. I'm just going to start posting. So that being said, thank you so much. And again, this will be available. This is the back end of my website. Um, this will be available on my website, theascendant.com. And you'll find it right here under recent blog posts. If you all, I was doing something that was going over like the different downloads and every time they transition. That was something that I just kind of put together really quick. Um, and it was a lot of work. So I'm not going to be continuing that. It was just something for short-term enjoyment. I was just needing some astrology in my life. Perhaps we'll do like a week ahead, month ahead type thing on here on YouTube. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So thank you for stopping by. If you want to book a reading, you can go to my store at the shop. If you want to learn, you can go to classes. Right now, I have one class, and it's pretty in depth. It's only on the big three, but it's like super in depth. Um, and I'm still building it. Uh, Students, and there is a video on there with another astrologer and human design reader, and it's just really meant to help people get comfortable in learning and reading and to get their astrology fix. So I'm not trying to be like the next big thing, but when people request certain things from me, I'm glad to create them. And it's basically what I'm doing here. I'm just creating. So yeah, his life, his me. And this is a long other people. Ciao.